Take 3. What does that say? Oh, it was giving a countdown clicker. Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to your Dig Deeper book review, or also known as your interview with an expert, but we haven't done any of those yet. We are digging deeper today, and are you going to dig deeper in your life? Because today is about let's dig deeper. Also, own your own life, right? So, we are digging into part 2 of what? The power of 7 personal financial disciplines. That's what we're digging in today. Hopefully, you were able to watch the other video on part 1 of this, or you actually caught it live when we did it last week before, guess what? Before we went off to the amazing event in Charlotte where we blew the lid off of Charlotte. Now, if you was on here yesterday, you heard me talking about it, bragging about it, talking about it, bragging about it, talking about it, bragging about it, talking about it, bragging about it. Yes, I am a broken record. Why? Because I was so proud of that event. I was so proud of it. So for those of you that are coming on board with us, for those of you that are on board with us, and for those of you that are getting on board with us, you should type some questions in. This is a good time for you to put your questions in, talk to us, talk to me, hear what we got to say. We have Jill in the background. Say hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill. That's Jill. Everybody knows Jill. We all know Jill around here. She's always in here with me. She's the ninja behind the camera. See, I'm talking to you guys and I'm answering your questions, and you're like, how's he talking to me and typing at the same time? Because we're like ninjas in here. Watcha! You don't know about the ninja tricks. You don't know. I know some of you think that, like, I sit around all day answering all the Facebook messages and answering all the text messages, and I'm telling you, I don't have that many fingers. But I got a really good team that does. So, little behind the scenes there for you. So, anybody have any questions from yesterday's Real Estate Talk Show, all about the event in Charlotte? Or anybody have any questions from the first 3 chapters of this book last week? If you do, type them in, and I'll make sure I get to them. Because for those of you that are just joining me for the very first time, this is Zack Childress with the REI Success Academy team and family. We are here every Wednesday at 1:30 Eastern Time Zone, bringing you something that we call the Dig Deeper Book Review. Why? Because everybody always asks me, Zack, what type of books do you read? What type of books do you engage in? Well, I got a bunch of them. So I'm spending time going through them with you guys. So one, if you don't have time to read the book for 2 or 3 days, jump on here every Wednesday at 1:30 Eastern, and I will burn through a book within 45 minutes, pointing out the highlights, the most important parts of the books, to get you up to speed and get you knowledgeable so that you are educating your brain. That 7 inches between your ears that you need to work out. You need to work that thing out, man. That thing's a muscle. If you don't work it out, guess what? It gets old on you. As my grandmother used to say, son, you better create wrinkles in that brain. And that's what it's about, okay? Part of our 5F lifestyle is the fitness video. And in that fitness video, I talk about fitness is more than just what? Working out, working in muscles. It's more than that. It's working this brain. You wonder why my head is so big? It's because I put so much knowledge in it. As my dad once said to me, now you gotta know my dad, he got a head full of gray hair. And he said, son, I got a gray hair for every good time I had. And I said, well, Dad, I lost a hair for every time I learned something. Okay, you guys didn't find that funny, did you? Well, here's my point. if you're not exercising your mind, and if you're not exercising the knowledge and growing as a person and really owning your life and getting deeper into what it is you want, and the only way to really get deeper is to seek more information and to keep educating yourself. And there'll be a point in your journey where you realize you can read all the books you want. You can have a bookcase like I have here, one at home, one behind me, one over in the garage. I got books after books after books. That's great. And all the knowledge in the world is super. But knowledge is useless without applying it. Listen to me when I say that. Applied knowledge is the secret to gaining knowledge. It does you no good to gain it. You have to apply it. You remember in chapter 2 in this book, he talked about the difference between being ignorant and being stupid. Or was it ignorant or stupid? What was it? I don't want it.
It was ignorant and stupid.
And stupidity. He said stupidity. And that is, an ignorant person is someone who just doesn't know. The stupidity of someone is someone who knows, but they don't do anything, right? That's applied knowledge. That, to take you out of that stupidity world of saying, yeah, I went around and I've studied and I've got all this going on, I blah, 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 then you've got to apply that information. That's what you have to do. You know, when we talk about principles of financial discipline, it's great to learn about it, but you've got to apply it. You've got to put it to use. And that's why we dig deeper here with you. That's why we do this dig deeper. So let's talk about that. Anybody got anything to say before I get started? Because you know how I get. I'll get talking and Jill's got to tell me to shut up. So
Toby's here. She says application is key. She also said hello to us, and she said no more coffee for you.
No more coffee for me. I have not had coffee today, Toby. This is my natural state. I'm living in a natural caffeine buzz. So, I mean, I'll drink coffee here and there, but you probably don't want to be around me if I'm drinking a bunch of coffee. I can pretty much guarantee that. You think I talk a lot now? Get stuck in the elevator with me and a cup of coffee. You might learn all the secrets that you want to know, Toby. You're like, I got it. Put him in a car. Let's go on a road trip and just drink coffee.
Oh my gosh, think about how long that trip would be with all that information.
No, think about how short it would be.
No, I mean like all the information in your mind coming out. We would have to travel the States like round trip 3 times.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this though. Road trips are the best. Like, I'm the guy that gets in a car and takes off, and I never turn the radio on. I don't. I just drive, and I think, and I think, and I think, and I think. Why? Because, man, like, the stuff I think about is amazing. And I just love having that time of decompression and thinking without the radio. I've driven from Alabama to California 4 times, and 3 of those times I drove without ever turning the radio on. 3 days of driving with no radio. Now, how many of you would do that, right? You know, it goes back to spending a little time in silence, right? When you can spend some time in silence, all that knowledge that you've obtained, that you've dug deeper into, you start to allow it to process without all the worldly distractions going on and the nonsense coming in. Try it. Try spending some time by yourself sometime. I promise you, you won't run yourself off. All right.
Oh, Henry Howard's on there.
Henry Howard! Henry, we missed you yesterday. You should have been on our real estate investing talk show, Henry. We were on yesterday. Remember, we do these Tuesdays at 1:30 Eastern Time Zone too. Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You got to be on, Henry. But thanks for being here today. Is that it? We good?
Yeah.
All right, let's get moving here. So we left off, just to recap, just a little recap. We went over the comprehensive financial awareness last week. We talked about the estate planning process, which we went real deep into those two. So now we're going to move into risk management. Risk management. John Gillespie, who's the author of this book, starts off by saying, risk management is the protective component of a sound financial plan. Boom, right? I think we talked about chapter 3. Yes, we did. I got backtracked there. We already covered, yes, we're in cash management. We talked about risk management, where we talked about the protective components, umbrella coverages. We covered all that. So we're in chapter 4, cash management. Will Rogers, he starts off with a quote from Will Rogers. Too many people spend money they haven't earned. Oh, like, is that a slap in the face or what? Did we change the lights in here?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm much brighter today in the camera.
No.
My head looks like it's white.
You are glowing a little bit.
Am I glowing a little bit today? Does my skin look good, Joe? Even though I didn't shave this morning?
We need to powder you. Then you don't have to worry about the
I don't know about the whole powder thing. Anyways, let's get back on topic, Joe, before you start putting lipstick on me. Too many people spend money they haven't earned. Spend money they haven't earned. That is the major problem we have in our economy today. You guys, oh man, I got to bring something up. One of my great student advisors, Joseph Compton, put a post out early this morning, as the champion he is. And he said something about, somebody was talking about people saying, well, I don't want to invest in myself, or I don't want to spend money on education. But yet they'll go out and try real estate without being educated and just kill whatever they were trying to do, destroy it, and do it all wrong, lose money, create issues, hurt people in the economy because they're doing it the wrong way, which changes the laws and repercussions get happening. But yet that same person that instead of spending money to invest in themselves and educate themselves so they do it right the first time, will go out and buy something stupid like a $1,000 pair of shoes. Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. Why would you buy a $1,000 pair of shoes? Look at here, guys. Let me show you something. I make 7 figures a year. And you see these shoes right here? They cost me $30. You see that right there? That's a $30 pair of shoes. You know why? Because I put them on my feet and I walk. I don't need a $1,000 pair of shoes. I mean, let's get real right now. I mean, just me and you. Let's start getting your life right. I'm going to spend, this is going to be a 3-part book, I can already tell you. Too many people spend money they haven't earned. Okay? There's another side to that note too. Look at this. Is that people, before they even close their deal, let's say they're going to make $30,000 on the deal. They're already spending it before they've even earned it. That's a no-no. Don't do that. Too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like. Think about it. Why would you buy a $1,000 pair of shoes? Why? All shoes do the same thing. You buy a $1,000 pair of shoes because why? You want to impress somebody. And you know what the sad part about that is? That person you're trying to impress probably has nowhere or no place to be in your life, because their moral standings and where they think they are in life has nothing to do with where you are and where you need to be going. I saw a picture today on Facebook about, who's Beyonce's husband?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. It was a great picture. It was a side-by-side picture. And it showed him as a young kid, and it said worth $100,000. And he had all this gold all over him. I mean, just gold all over him. And then it showed a picture of him today. No gold, a black t-shirt, looks like a normal guy. Worth $600 million. Right? Too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like. Listen what I just said. You can spend it all. You have probably heard people say, oh, they have so much money they could never spend it all. Well, I can promise you that there is no such human being alive. You can spend it all. Look at all the people that win in the lottery. So many people win in the lottery, win $40 million, $60 million, and in 3 years they're broke. You know why? Because they spend money to impress others. That's why. And they have no understanding of financial literacy or financial discipline. That's why. Okay? That's why. Think about this stuff, guys. Look, my neighbors have no clue who I am. I don't want them to. They ask me what I do. I tell them I'm a stay-at-home dad. They're like, oh, does your wife work? I go, no. Well, I mean, my ex does, but I don't have a wife. They're confused. Why? Because I live in a place and a state of understanding financial discipline and financial legacy. That's where I live. I don't need to impress my neighbors with a $10 million house. I don't need their opinion on me to dictate how I take care of my family. I only need to make sure that I'm disciplined in my financial needs so that I can provide a legacy to my children. That is financial discipline. The three greatest financial problems in this world. The three greatest financial problems in this world today are financial ignorance, wrong attitude, and poor planning. Boom. That's really it. Ignorance because why? They've never learned it. Attitude is because they don't think they deserve it or that they can get it. And poor planning because if they do get it, they didn't plan it out. Okay? He says, number one, financial ignorance. It is simply the lack of knowledge. Many people have chosen the neglect of receiving the necessary financial education that is reasonably required to function with financial stability. That is why receiving an overnight fortune through an inheritance, lawsuit settlement, or winning the lottery is truly not the answer. One statistic stated that 90% of lotto winners after 12 months have no family, no friends, and no money left. I don't want to win the lottery. I mean, if I got a 90% chance of losing my friends, family, and being broke, please. And I'll tell you something else. I don't play the lottery. I don't go buy these scratch and sniffs and all that. I don't do any of that, okay? And the reason being is because a long time ago, and I'm probably going to offend somebody that watches this, but a long time ago, my godfather said to me, he said, Zach, do you know what the lottery's for? And I said, no, what's it for? He said, it's for the poor and stupid. That's what he told me. And that stuck in my head like forever. Like it was people that thought, well, instead of going out and figuring out how to make a financial living for themselves, they were going to hope that they could go scratch off a scratch and sniff and make $1 million. And then the people that knew that they probably would never win keep going back and doing it again. And do you know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Right. Number two, wrong attitude. He says, the wrong attitudes are often evidence in uncomfortable spending and the abuse of credit. You must get out of debt and stay out of debt. Listen, also remember this. Use credit to invest. Use credit to invest in yourself. If you're going to build yourself to another level and you don't have the resources now, you need to be able to figure out how to get those resources. And those resources can come from lines of credit. So what do you do with that? Do you take that lines of credit? I mean, I hear stories all the time where our student advisors are helping people, find money and raise money to really help grow their business and to invest in their business. And they disappear. Why? Because they go on a vacation, they go buy a $1,000 pair of shoes, they go buy clothes, they go do things that have nothing to do with growing their business after a student advisor here has helped them overcome one of their biggest obstacles, which is finding money. And now these people run off and buy a used car that will never give them a return. Look, credit is good when you use it for the right purpose. When you use it to buy an investment that gives you a higher return than what you're paying in that credit. When you use it to invest in yourself and your education, which is the highest rate of return you'll ever make in your life. That's good credit. Build your business to pay down the debt. So listen, he says here, you must get out of debt and stay out of debt. How do you do that? You build a business. You invest in yourself to build a business that the business will manage and always keep you out of debt, because as you keep growing your business, it keeps paying down your debt. Guys, it is a process of financial discipline, and you've got to dig in and understand it. Number three, poor planning is the third problem. You have probably heard it said that most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. And it's the truth. I'm in risk management. I always plan, well, what if it goes wrong? Then what? Where am I at in that situation? But most people just fail to plan. And you got to think about that. All right, the rule of 72. I love this rule. Okay? Listen up, guys. This is something you might want to pay attention to. You probably want to go back and watch this again and write this down. The rule of 72. Even though not, well, let me say how I could explain this. The rule of 72, what he's basically saying is, even though not precise to the penny, serves a great tool to help us understand compound interest. Now, listen to this. I know I'm going to throw some math at you, but I'm going to try to do it in a way that you can all understand it. For an example, if you divide 72 by 3, okay, so if you take a calculator and you take 72 and you divide it by 3, you get 24, okay? So money growing at an assumed interest rate of 3% will double in approximately 24 years. You with me? So the way you look at this is, let's say you got your money in a bond or a stock out there, and it's giving you a 3%. Well, then you take 72 divided by the interest rate in which you're getting on your investments, and whatever that number gives you is the years in which you will start to double your money. So think about that. You need to do that on everything you're investing in right now. The rule of 72. If you're making, 4% or 5%, take 72 divided by 5, and that'll tell you how many years it's going to take you to double your money. You got me? So if I am making 35% return on a portfolio, and I take 72 and I divide it by 35, I get 2-point-something per years. So that means every 2-point-something years, I'm doubling my money. That's what you got to start thinking about. Like, what is my rule of 72 with the money I'm using? Put it out there. Learn it. Chapter 5. Anything on chapter 4 right now?
No. You got Toby all fired up. Rob is on here.
Oh, Mr. Rob in the house. If you could only see what's going on over here. I got Jill behind the camera, bundled up in a sweater with a hoodie on because she's freezing, and I'm over here sweating. The stuff I put my staff through.
We have to have like a climate control room. Like you
need to bring your heater in here. All right. Listen up, everyone. Chapter 5. Was that it?
Well, no, he was calling you out.
Oh.
Yeah.
What you calling me out on?
He was calling you out because when you were talking about the lottery, you said scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
The scratch and sniff are stickers, and the scratch offs.
I know.
Oh, you were doing it to see if anyone was paying attention?
No, I call them scratch and sniffs.
Oh.
Because, they're useless.
Oh, okay.
I call them... I know what I'm talking about, Rob.
I'm glad we addressed
I call lottery tickets scratch and sniffs because they're about as useless as a scratch and sniff sticker. That's why I call them that.
That's very true.
So, what you go buy a scratch and sniff for, you could go buy a whole box of scratch and sniff stickers for. So, Chapter 5, Discipline 5, Retirement Planning, okay? Here's Hunter Thompson. He says this: life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid and broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally wore out, and loudly proclaiming, "Wow, what a ride!" I love that. He's basically saying there, look, you could live life with all these concerns and I don't want to do this, I might get hurt, and blah, blah, blah. Or you could just run wide open through life and know I'm going to fall down. I'm going to scratch my knees. I'm going to get a bloody nose. I'm going to do all these things, but I'm going to ride this ride wide open. And I'm going to come into home plate screaming, "What a ride!" Love it. Love it. A definition of retirement: you get up in the morning with nothing to do and go to bed at night having only done half of it. Right? It's like, man, I got a busy day today, but if I get half of it done, I'm good. I'm a little nervous about retirement. I don't know what I would do if I retired. Here's a good quote. He says, "Build wealth, the accumulation phase. It is amazing how many people have no concise awareness of a retirement goal, and worse yet, no plan to get there." How are you going to retire if you don't have a plan for it? Listen, if you're watching this and you're watching me and you're somewhat a fan of mine or a student of ours, then obviously you've got some plan, which is real estate investing. And you're going for it, and I commend you for that. But do you realize how many people in this world right now have no idea how they're going to take care of themselves when they stop working? Think about it. Oh, this is a good one. Write this down on a sheet of paper somewhere. Pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. Do you know how many years I lived building a business and I never paid myself first? I was the last one that got paid. I paid everybody else. I paid all the bills and vendors and marketing, and then whatever was left over, I paid myself. And that's that. I lived basically a life of the inability to create a budget because I never knew what I was going to have left over to pay myself. Pay yourself first, and then build the budget off the business with what's left over. So
Rob is saying to you, let's ride this ride.
Let's ride, let's ride. All my homies in my car going ride, ride, ride.
Anyways, I'm surprised he hasn't called me out right now.
Why? Because you're all bundled up?
No, because
should I turn the camera around so you guys can see Jill all bundled up?
We have this saying that...
in Canadian?
No, it's me. We have this saying where it is... it's on sale, pick it up.
No. If it's on sale, that don't mean buy it. That's like when you have a spouse that goes shopping and they come home with 5 bags and you're like, but you only went for a pair of pants. But it was all on sale.
He just said it. It's on sale, pick it up.
So, listen, I'm not for that. Now, I said, for myself, I don't really do a lot of shopping. But yes, I do buy a lot for my kids, and I probably shouldn't, but I can't help it. I go through a kid's store, and I see all these little cute dresses and shoes for my daughter, and I think, oh, I got to get that. Oh, I got to get that. Oh, I got to get that. Oh, I got to buy that. And I'm like the dad, like, oh, you'd look so cute in that, Ava. Oh, you'd look so cute in that. And she gets me. She's like, Dad, I would. You gonna buy it? You gonna buy it? So what does Daddy do? Daddy buys it. And then my son's like, well, what about me, Dad? You know, the problem is, well, actually, I started figuring it out last week. I buy more clothes for my daughter than I ever do my son. But my son, I buy more things like karate gear and swords and pads and baseball stuff and bats and gloves. And so I guess it balances out in an essence. But somebody once told me a long time ago that, you know, daddies love little girls, but little girls are the most expensive. So I'm learning that one. All right, tax strategies, chapter 6. This is a good one. Help you out with some taxes. John Gillespie says this: I've never met anyone who makes up on April 15th of such year a joyful exclaim, oh boy, today I get to pay my taxes. You know what's funny? Is that when the tax code was written, it said to pay taxes were basically a choice. And I know, like, what if we said, well, I don't want to pay, well, then we go to jail. But back when it all got established, it was a choice. They couldn't strong arm someone to pay taxes, because when you go back over into Europe, back when the tax collector would walk around, they would beat on your door, come inside, beat up the people, trash the house, and take their gold bullions and leave the house. And so when the states were created, they wanted to go against the European sister and not have that. But now, as our state has progressed with so much debt, they've kind of silently became that sole outfit, right? So I'm not a big fan of taxes. Let's just say that. So let's talk about tax deferrals, how investment earnings such as interest, dividends, and capital gains to be deferred until an investor withdraws and takes possession of them. The most common type of tax deferral investment includes those in individual retirement accounts like IRAs. You can also do like a 1031 exchange, which if you're buying real estate as a real estate investor, our biggest two outfits for deferred taxes are IRAs. Self-directed IRAs are probably the best ones out there because you get to direct your funds how you want. And here's a little secret for you. You want to know how to build your IRA account super fast if you're wholesaling? Is let's say your IRA account only has, I don't know, $10,000 in it, and you know, and we have certain limits that we can put in it every year, and we can't just dump $100,000 into it if we want, but if it earns, it can. So let's say it has $10,000, and you want to make your IRA a partner in one of your real estate deals. You could take that $10,000, put it into that real estate transaction with an agreement that it gets half the profits or all the profits at time of close. So when that real estate transaction closes, if you make $40,000 on it, that $40,000 goes back into the self-directed IRA, tax deferred, right? Same way with wholesaling. Let's say you want all your wholesale fees to go into your self-directed IRA. Well, whatever the earnest money is that you put up, you pull it from your self-directed IRA account. You open escrow with that $500 with the intent that it is being paid back all the earnings from that deal. So when you make a $10,000 assignment fee, it goes back to your self-directed IRA, tax deferred. Some little secrets for you there, man. The other one is the 1031 exchange. This is where you have a property, you're selling that property, you don't want to pay short-term or long-term capital gains on it, so you identify another property, and then you hire a custodian, a 1031 custodian company that manages the transaction so that you identify another property that those profits are going to go into, and you don't have to pay taxes on that transaction. It gets deferred over to the other property. So those are some things that you want to really, really consider. Okay? All right. Let's move on down through this book. Now remember, let me be clear, I'm not a tax advisor, I'm not a tax person, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant, I'm not an insurance agent, I'm not an insurance advisor, I'm not an accountant, I'm not an attorney, I'm not acting as an attorney, I'm not giving you legal advice at all. I'm simply reading to you from a book. Are we clear? I don't need anybody coming back to me saying, oh, well, that's Zach. He told me I needed to do this, and I lost everything. Guys, I'm giving you advice on what you need to be digging deeper into, which is going and reading a book over here by John Gillespie, okay? Tax planning tools. Write these down, guys. Tax planning tools. Be sure to discover with your advisor, you hear that? With your advisor, the current parameters, personal
application?
No. I can't even say the word.
Let me see.
I can't even say the word. Applicability. I can't even say the word.
Applicability.
Hey, wait, come here. Look at this girl. Look at this. She bundled up over here. Applicability. Thank you, Jill. And tax applications surrounding each of the followings. Now, he gives you a whole bunch of them. I don't know about some of them because they don't really affect me in my real estate business. But here's some things I want you to go out and start digging into. A 1031 exchange, get some knowledge on it. Also a 1035 exchange, that's a little bit more advanced. IRAs, if you have a 401k or if you have something that you're building money, you need to push all of that into a self-directed IRA. And people say, oh, well, I have a 401k on my employer. How do I do that? Go find out what the rules are. That's all you need to do. But some people go, oh, well, I got to pay some penalties. I might have to pay $4,000 to do that. Who cares? What you're making over there is probably so small compared to what you could do on your own. I could care less. They could take half of it away, and I would still rather go put it in a self-directed IRA so that I could build it faster. You understand? Traditional IRAs, a simple IRA. Those are pretty cool. A Roth IRA, a SEP, also a 401k or a solo 401k. That might be something you want to look into. And an inherited IRA. Those are all good stuff. Man, this book goes on and on about charitable gifts and strategy, how to do that from parents and non-parents, deferred gift annuities, amended gift annuities, charitable reminded trust. I mean, guys, I'm not going to dig into all that because some of that stuff I have even yet to do. Even though as sophisticated as my estate planning is, some of that I haven't even done. Well, maybe one is because there's no way I'm going to get a charitable gift from my parents because They never planned early on. So they were the ones that failed to plan, if you know what I mean. Chapter 7, Discipline 7. Okay. Hey, welcome back. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I missed you. So listen. I'm going to wrap this up again before we burn out Facebook again. Asset allocation. Harvey McKay says this about asset allocation. When a person with money meets a person with experience, the person with the experience winds up with the money. Ooh. And the person with the money winds up with the experience. Listen to what he said. When a person with money meets a person with experience, the person with experience winds up with the money, and the person with the money winds up with the experience. It's an asset allocation. It's a trade-off. If you want to know what I know, then you have to pay for that information. And therefore, I receive payment for my intellectual information, and I give you my experience, so it is an asset allocation. You're trading your money for my experience. I'm giving you my experience to be paid for that transfer. Guys, it's life. That's how life works. You understand? Asset allocation is the investment strategy that aims to balance risk and reward by appropriate portions of a portfolio's asset according to an individual's time horizon, risk tolerance, and investment objectives. That's asset allocation. It's being able to manage in the direction in which you want to grow by the assets in which you're acquiring. Time horizon takes into consideration both the number of years you have to accumulate assets and the number of years you will need to take income from those accumulated assets. We refer to it, if you ever watched any of my teachings, I always talk about the bell curve. The bell curve. The bell curve. The bell curve. When I'm referring to bell curve, so that you guys understand it, it's also known in the financial world as asset allocation. Now, if I said that, you guys would be like, what's he talking about? But if I draw out a bell curve and show you how we show you our timeline horizon, how we get knowing there is no crystal ball, okay? And knowing you will never catch the exact top or the exact bottom, a skilled investor will have specific signals that will trigger him to take position and sell positions in the beginning. I would only use fundamentals and strategic analysis to determine a client's portfolio allocation. This is him speaking. This is what I talk to you guys about all the time. It's about positioning. It's about data. It's about tracking. If you guys were at, who was at my event this past weekend? If you're on here and you were at that event, give me a thumbs up. If you weren't at the event, then give me a sad face, because you're probably sad right now that you didn't go and you wish you would have went, and that's your problem, not mine, because I told you to go and you didn't go. On day one, we talked about this right here. We talked about how to predict the coming markets and where to research it at, and how to know when to move the asset allocation threshold so that we would know. Hey, welcome back. All right, here's what I was leaving off. We were teaching asset allocation on Friday, and we were talking about all the different ways to know when the top of the market